You like the sound of that?
Yeah!
Team C, can you get the applause going? Yeah. Absolutely mental for the next amazing act we've got tonight. Mr. Dave O'Flynn!
Hello. Settling into the new term then, are you? Christmas a long distant memory? I treated myself to a new present this Christmas myself. I got myself a new sandwich toaster. I was a bit disappointed with the old one, but I regret that now. I think it's definitely a case of better the Breville you know. Like most people, I put a bit of weight on over Christmas, but not as much as I could. Because I actually turned some food down. It was Boxing Day, and Mum said, do you want a bit of cold turkey, Dave? I said, no thanks, I'm trying to give it up. I hate peer pressure, I really do. I never used to, but my mates told me to, so I did that. If the laughs die thin, you just look over there and they start again, it's great. Why is it that the subject of your own sex life in front of your mum and dad is always a complete no-go, unless you're telling them you're going to have a baby? Because at that moment, people forget what causes it. No other moment in my life would it have been okay to go around to my parents, call them in from another room, sit them down and say, it was about 12 weeks ago now that we had a cracking shag. But that's essentially what you're telling them when you say you're going to have a baby. In fact, if you've done that to if I'd done that to my parents, the best you get is indifference. You probably get a bit of embarrassment, and I know my mum had a bit of anger. You're doing that? Well, yes, I'm 33 now. I've been active for a good 6 or 7 years. Bits of a plan. But they not only forget what caused it, they actually start getting interested. They start doing the maths. My dad was 12 weeks, about 3 months. That's your birthday. Is that when you went up to London? Yes, Dad. You want to be precise about it, did you? We told my other half's dad, and he turned into a cockney. He went, look, give us some details. What do you want, a fucking position? And I thought that would be the most embarrassing thing about having kids, but it's not, because a few years later we tried again. And it took us a bit of a long time. So we had to have the inevitable tests, but we kept that a bit quiet until the day of my first sperm test, and my car didn't start. So I had to phone my mum, who at the time lived locally, and explain, which was not easy. And say, look, could you take me to the hospital for 1 o'clock, I've got this appointment. Anyway, she turned up, and I thought it would be very embarrassing, but it was fine. And we get up there, about 1:45, nowhere to park. Drive round and round, nothing happened. About 3 minutes to 1, out from nowhere, she just pulls into the disabled bay and looks at me deadpan. No hint of irony, and just says, you're not going to be long, are you? I'll just wait here. So I might have become infertile. I have to wank into a pot when the doctor says, and my mum thinks I've got premature ejaculation. $1 million that day. I told that story at the last show, and a bloke near the front row had the strangest haircut. He shouted out, you can't say disabled anymore. I said, what? I'm not taking a piss, just disabled pop. You can't say disabled anymore, I have to say wheelchair user. Anyway, he's right. I've looked this up, this is now the new PC thing, you have to say wheelchair user. I don't know about you, but wheelchair user to me implies a degree of choice, and I can't think of anybody who chooses to use a wheelchair unless they're disabled, so I don't quite get that. Given that you're students, I assume you come from all over the country, a lot of you get the train down. There's this thing in the southeast that doesn't happen anywhere else in the country where it splits. The train has several carriages and it splits and they go into different places after different stations. Isn't that fucking confusing? You walk along the platform and geez, you think I'm just about and because you do two things, you walk along and you think, oh shit, which is is this the front that I hit first? Or is it the front that's the way the train's going? And then you remember, no, it's the way the train's going. Canterbury West, fine, 8 carriages, I'm on the front. It's easy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No one does that. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just in case. Just in case, rudimentary maths I've done since before I went to school suddenly fails me, is it? Just in case there's 9 carriages, little ones are free for all. That, however, is not as frustrating as using the self-service checkout at the supermarket, is it? Because regardless of whether you're buying 1 item or 5 million, this will happen. Beep. Unexpected. unexpected item in the bagging area. Well, how the fuck is this unexpected? I've just look, it says it there, it says, king size men's Kleenex tissues. There. Sniffle. Actually, sorry, I digress, but talking of what you're obviously thinking, have you seen the new advert for those men's tissues? Absolutely ridiculous. Literally, the last couple of days, a very butch, hunky man is outside chopping wood or doing anything typically masculine. Then he hears a baby cry, and he walks inside, and he tends to the baby, and then he blows his nose. And that's the advert for the tissues. And presumably it's meant to illustrate that they're strong and manly enough for lumberjacks, but they're also caring for your nose as the way you would care for a baby. What utter horseshit. Who the fuck is going to buy a bag of tissues, a box of tissues on the back of that? Clearly, advertising for men's tissues should be this. Men, do you like wanking and sometimes get a cold? Supermarket. So, you scanned it, yes. So, unexpected item, and you think, well, this is ridiculous. It says it there, this should be thoroughly anticipated item in the bagging area. And I'm like, what's going on here? Every time I go, I get the bloody Alzheimer's till. If you asked it what it scanned 30 years ago, it would tell you every fucking item. I just wonder, this is ridiculous. And the other reason, surely it's ridiculous, it says, unexpected item in the bagging area. That's needlessly wordy and formal, isn't it? I know what it's trying to say is, I don't think that's what you scan. But I live near a Sainsbury's, so I go there quite a bit, and apparently the Aldi one says, oi, fucking put that back. And the middle one says, don't fucking nick it now. I mentioned kids earlier. I don't think any of us ever quite realised at the time, but the things that we say and sing to children is just utter drivel. The nursery rhymes and songs are just, it's just rubbish. And one particular one that really, really pisses me off is the song that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, once I called to the fisher right. It's shit. The numbers add nothing. I have rewritten it. I don't sing it anymore. I have rewritten it to make it better. And this will be my late Christmas gift to you. I will tell you the new version. The numbers add nothing. They can come out. And the next line, once I got a fish alive. I've got two issues with that. One, we aren't French. Our adjective comes before the noun. I caught a live fish. And secondly, I don't think we need to say that, do we? I think there's an inherent implication. I caught a fish. Most people would assume, I think it's probably live. I don't think there's not many anglers who come home. I'm home, dear. Good day? Yeah, 30 odd. Bugger the number. What's the proportion between live and dead? How many, which way around those? I don't think that happens too much. The next line, 6 to 10, that can fuck off, that's numbers, that's nothing to do with it. Then I let it go again. But you let it go again. So you've already caught it, you let it go, and then let it go again. This is new information, you didn't tell me this in the first time, did you? Why did you let it go? Because you bit my finger so. Okay, so other than to rhyme with the word go, I'm not quite sure the word so does here, so off you pop. And then, the little finger on my right. Again, very specific. I don't think we need to know exactly which finger. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to reattach this finger. I'm going to apply a medical procedure to it. I don't think the story suffers any if you remove the precision of the finger. So, my version, which I prefer, you might not, but my version is, went fishing the other day, caught the same fish twice. It bit me though, so I threw it back. It's not quite as punchy, and I'm not sure kids like it, but it's semantically and grammatically much more correct. Now, this joke will probably fail, but this is literally the only time in my entire life I can ever make this joke. Any history students? Any English? Is that the person from Bexley? Oh, Bexhill, sorry, I only have a Bex in it. Quite posh, man. Yes, any English literature students in? So you've heard the news, Richard III this week, blah, 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 the big debate about where he's going to get buried. The new debate today, literally in the paper today, whoever loses, they might choose the transport to the funeral. Surely, his last words now need to be rewritten as a hearse, my kingdom for a hearse. gonna bust a myth for you. People say to me, you do a bit of comedy, I bet you've got a hit with the ladies because of that. You can't laugh a woman into bed. Well, it's a rumour, presumably spread by a funny, ugly guy, but it's not true. And I know this categorically. I'll tell you what, I did my own survey. Last year I asked every single woman that I slept with why they did. And all 78 of them, all, said it's because I was devilishly good looking and not because I made them laugh. Right, that's it from me. Thank you very much.